All right. Seems like this new event that Microsoft's got cooking up is about to begin pretty soon. And holy shit, look at the chat. We got people going all sus and puzzle. Acapalooza, Thelvatame. My god, dude, the whole chat's literally a quite a wild party there. But anyways, all right. I see Hidden Xperia has a Halo Infinite flight gameplay video coming up. If you guys want to check that out. Now, I'm going to throw in my predictions before, this whole thing starts. First of all, I am kind of hoping that they show off more of the multiplayer, which I have a feeling they will. But what I do want to see, however, is some more weapons. Ones that will be returning to Halo Infinite, as well as some completely new ones, like we saw before. Maybe a couple of new armors, like we saw with the recent E3 trailer. That I would kind of like to see. Of course, all of this is just completely unrealistic expectations. I admit that. But I would still like to see something new for once. Now, unfortunately for me, I didn't get an invite to do some Halo Infinite flight testing, though that probably might be, something for Xbox Series X and whatnot. And I do understand that maybe a PC version is kind of a time consuming process, given that it's not nearly as easy to port a game to PC as it sounds. Even still, I'm kind of let down by the fact that I didn't get an invite, but oh well, what can you do? Not that I really have the most powerful PCs out there. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But, anyways, back to my predictions here. What I'm hoping to see is a couple of new armors, a couple of new weapons, and maybe a few returning ones that will be in the game. Features that I am probably expecting to see here are Forge. Like, I know there's going to be a Forge mode in this game, but I really would love to see what it's like. Something tells me this is some kind of premiere. The more I could see of it. Okay, let me see here. Let me see here. Uh, you know what? Okay. Um, Yeah. Well, I really can't wait to see what Halo Infinite has in store. Again, I don't know if they're actually going to show off anything new or if it's going in depth with the multiplayer. But I'm sure they'll throw one hell of a surprise for us in this preview. And yeah, I kind of have ice cream. I'll be right back. All right. Hey, Busty Butt. Only about 10 more minutes until it's started. No, Bob. No, no, no. My ice cream. My ice cream. My ice cream. Yeah. Stop it. Stop that. Where's your sister at? Go play with her. Yeah. Here's hoping we actually get a preview of what Forge Mode is like. Again, I am setting some pretty unrealistic expectations here. But it's something that I would really think. But it's something nice I would like to see. Like, if it were a mixture of the simple version, like as in like Halo 3 Reach and Halo 4's Forge, as well as a complex version of like Halo 5's Forge, then I would really love to see that. I would love to see that. Hello there, GD Omar. Nice of you to join along with me today. I have one what? Oh, you mean a dog? Oh, my expectation. I'm doing a live reaction to a new technical preview for Halo Infinite. Well, at least you probably already knew that. So I don't know why the hell I said that. But welcome to the live reaction. Welcome aboard to the live reaction. All right, 10 more minutes. Ah, finally, it's starting. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The Halo Infinite showcase shall be starting soon. Please show off something more promising than the E3 demo had already shown us. Again, though, I'm not going to go too deep into the specifics, but I would really like to be able to see see something involving the online multiplayer as well as the shit. What was it? Oh, shit, I forget. But hey, I would really love to see. I would really like to see Forge Mode in action. I know it can be done. I know it can be done. But yeah, I do have a feeling it's just going to focus solely on the technical and the multiplayer side of Halo Infinite. Because at the moment, it doesn't really seem like they have the campaign finished. Or, wait. Actually, they have confirmed that it's finished. They're probably just not ready to show it off yet, as far as I can tell. Please let it be something good. I'm not going to try to be too unrealistic, like I said, but I do expect something new out of this. Or maybe it'll be an in-depth look at everything you'll see in Halo Infinite. Come on, baby. Come on. I'm literally hearing constant static, by the way. Like, I don't even know why, but it's probably my audio jack. Thankfully, you guys can't hear it, so you should be perfectly fine on the audio front. Come on already. Only 5 more minutes. Just gotta be patient. I know, Busty, but I'm tired too. Literally coming home from work. Alright. Alright, still on. Still on schedule. Alright. You know, now that I'm starting to think about it, I really do hold... I wonder what multiplayer maps they're going to show off here, if any. Hang on a second. Alright. The show shall be starting any moment now. Come on, baby. Come on. Please do not disappoint me. Please do not disappoint me. I'll keep my fingers crossed. All right. It probably might be rated M. Alright, just some footage from that E3 trailer we saw before. Nothing too crazy. We did get to see quite a lot of action, which is cool. There's the Commando, as well as some of the new equipment. And you gotta love the grapple hook, baby. And this new weapon, whatever it is. I can't wait to find out what that actually is. Okay, I think the audio is off by a lot.
Hello, let's do some damage.
Alright.
Skewer acquired.
Seriously, that's just so badass. How the skewer just pushes it off. Okay, so vehicles that are confirmed to make an appearance here are Scorpion, Wasp, the Razorback, Warthogs, Ghost, the Chopper. Definitely love the Chopper. Now, I'm not a fan of the, not really a fan of ordnance drops via Pelican, but I do really hope that's relegated to a specific game mode of some sort. Alright, please let there be a Gauss Hog and a Rocket Hog. Maybe a troop transport hog, but I sincerely doubt it since the Razorback more or less fulfills that role. And of course... Oh yeah, that badass samurai armor. Bam! Man, I would really love to have that. I'd love to have that. And frankly, it's going to be free to play. Halo Infinite coming out this holiday.
Hey everyone, what is up? This is Brian, also known as Sketch
Yeah, the audio
across the
was kind of
community,
off.
and we are coming to you live today
That's
from
just
343
that's pretty
Industries here in
unfortunate, but
Redmond, Washington. And let me just say, it feels
never mind.
great to be back. I feel like today has been a long time coming. I'm excited to finally kick this off. I know you all are, so welcome to today's live stream, and we are going to dive into this weekend's upcoming Halo Infinite Tech Preview. Now, before we get going, just want to give you guys a little bit of context for what we're going to cover today. We're going to have a couple guests rotate through. We're going to dive right into the same exact build that Halo Insiders will get their hands on starting tomorrow. We are live, so all the same known issues that we're aware of in this tech preview that's work in progress are also in this build today. So who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully everything goes smoothly, but just ask everyone to bear with us.
Really like your
Also,
long hair, by the way.
I've kind of been in my house in the quarantine for about 2 years, if you can't tell. So we might be a little bit rusty, but we're going to have a lot of fun today. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about and show. So to kick things off, want to introduce Sam Hanshaw, producer on the live team. Sam, welcome.
Thanks. It's good to be here. I'm ready to have some fun and introduce our fans to
Why, hello there.
preview.
So let's sort of start by setting a little bit of context. And I know folks are eager to see stuff and dive in. We're going to get to that in a few minutes, but just let's kind of start at the highest level. We talk about fighting a lot. We talk about tech previews a lot. Kind of what do we want our viewers and our insiders to know? Like, what do we mean? Like, what is the context for what this really is?
Sure. So I think that calling it a tech preview, that encapsulates it. We're testing our technology here. We're looking to get players into games. We're looking to make sure that the servers are up and running well, and that we can support everything with our service infrastructure.
Right.
So we also want people to have fun while doing it, and we need to get feedback on the breadth of hardware that we know is out there. You know, we can't test on every combination of.
I better turn up the
hardware
volume a
that they
bit.
have for their PCs,
Or can I?
But we know that
Never mind.
the folks at home can, and so we need your help to do that.
And this is safe to say this will be the biggest scale test that we've been able to do to date. We're talking hundreds of thousands of Halo Insiders have been invited to participate this weekend. And obviously we've
And I
done
sadly was
hard
not
work
the
testing.
thousands
We've
of
done
people who got the
smaller scale
invite,
flights
but
to lead up to this point. But like, what does that process look like? Like,
hey,
We cut the.
I can
we
always
cut
let
this
them have
branch
their fun.
About 2 months ago, and that's when we started with a lot of the testing for it and kind of targeted bug fixes towards getting a stable product to have out today for tech preview. Now, it's 2 months old. It's still got some bugs. We know that. We've got a robust known issues list for folks to be prepared before they dive in. And we expect you to hit some new bugs that we haven't seen. And that's part of what we're excited about, because we need your help to find these bugs, and so we can see how they're reproduced and fix them internally. But yeah, it's been about 2 months of testing, fixing, and play testing to get to this.
Understandable.
And if we really wanted to roll it back even further, it's safe to say that we've been flighting as kind of a process. Which, by the way, for those that aren't familiar, because not everybody uses the same jargon out there, right? When we talk about flighting, it's really the process of putting out kind of iterative pre-release software to a target audience with some expected goals to go after. We put the build out, it tests, we get the feedback, and we act on that feedback and sort of move on to the next one. So safe to say we've been doing this for quite some time at a much smaller scale. So this is not the first time we've put the game in the hands of civilians, so to speak. So we've been getting feedback all along. I just kind of wanted to bring that point up. It's not like we've just been heads down. This is our first time sharing our baby with the world. We've had a small group of various insider private flights, user research. So all these inputs have been a critical part of development really since the beginning, certainly. But now we're opening the floodgates to get all sorts of new perspectives, and I think critically, fresh eyes, brand new perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely. Fresh eyes, fresh hardware, like everything that we could ask for. It's coming from the hundreds of thousands of people who are going to be playing this weekend.
So before we move on, I also just want to comment on, if your Twitter feed's like mine, the invite started rolling out yesterday about 5 p.m. to eligible insiders. It's been kind of a whirlwind of emotions, I'm sure, for many people. Sending out hundreds of thousands of emails, it turns out, takes a lot of time. There are people, as of an hour or two ago, I'm seeing are just now receiving their emails. So I think my message to everyone is, not everyone will get in this particular tech preview and this flight. And we knew that was going to be the case because, we need to incrementally grow. We sort of want to walk before we run, right? But I do want to make sure people know that there will be future opportunities, right? this is not the only tech preview that we've planned between now and launch.
That's correct. This is the first and probably the smallest. So as we grow and over the coming months, as we put out new builds with additional features, they're each going to have a larger and larger audience as we head towards launch.
So just really critically, if you want to be a participant in a future tech preview or flight, please head to haloinsider.com. Anyone can opt in at any point. Make sure your profile is completed. We'd love to get more and more people in for future flights, as Sam mentioned. So Sam, maybe now let's shift gears a little bit. I think one of the really cool and ambitious aspects of this project is kind of the breadth of platforms that we're going to support right now. I mean, we not only is our multiplayer experience free to play, but cross play. I mean, we are really truly going to where our players are, regardless of platform.
Yeah, and this tech preview is no exception.
If that confirms crossplay will be a thing for this, then I will be very happy to know that I can play with other players on Xbox Series X. And that's ultimately because I'm primarily a PC gamer. But this will definitely open the floodgates for those who don't have access to PC whatsoever.
PC, by the way, also on Steam, which we know a lot of fans were excited about. I think for the purpose of this tech preview, we're only on Steam.
And your
for PC,
absolute
but
chance for
obviously
putting it
launch,
on
it won't
Steam
be the only
too.
means of playing our game.
There's no questioning it.
Now, one thing we did want to know, I think, Sam, at a high level, safe to say that the experience that we're going to play
Although,
in this tech preview, specifically
this
on each
kind of
these
leaves me
platforms when it comes to,
wondering
like,
as to
fidelity
whether
and
or not
performance,
Halo 5 will
safe
ever
to
come
say
to
that
Steam along with its
what's in the
Forge
preview
mode.
today is not necessarily
I
indicative
doubt
of
it,
our
but,
targets when we launch this game.
you know,
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
correct.
dream.
So performance is something that we're working on week after week. And as I said before, this is a build that's about 2 months old. So we cut this from main 2 months ago to work on it. And a lot of the performance work that goes in wasn't appropriate to bring over to this branch because performance work can often create instability. We wanted to keep this as stable as possible when we launch it to you all. So this build about 2 months behind in terms of
Dang it.
performance. And
Come on,
obviously
thing.
there's
Don't
more runway
don't
to
be
go
bugging
before
out
we
on me
launch
now.
this year.
And I would assume the data we get from this tech preview will be really valuable as we continue to sort of make sure we're supporting the widest breadth of PC configurations, for example. And really the team's goal is to deliver a really solid, performant, good-looking experience catered to every platform that we support.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
So speaking of that, I know people are eager to see some stuff. It's kind of cool, really, if you think about it.
I know I
today,
am.
We've only ever shown Halo Infinite running on PC. And we're going to do that here live today in a little bit. We're going to show some stuff off. But this is going to be the first time people can see what the game looks like running on an actual Xbox hardware. So prior to this stream, we were able to put together a little bit of gameplay capture. And I'd like to give folks a glimpse at this is going to be a Halo Infinite multiplayer match recorded, I believe, last week here in the studio. Just to give people a sense of this is the game as it currently stands in this build running on an Xbox One. So I'm going to give a shout out to Joshua here behind the scenes. He's running production for the live stream. Josh, if you want to cue that up, I think people are really eager to see some gameplay. Let's take a look. Let's see how this game's looking currently on Xbox One.
All right, Xbox One. Ooh. Well, I gotta say, it actually doesn't look too bad. Lighting is very crisp and clean. Textures are very nicely detailed. Honestly, I don't imagine this looking too terribly different from the Xbox Series X version.
Sam, clearly we're looking at
I wonder what
a
plasma
match
weapon
here
that is,
on
though.
Bazaar.
It kind of looks like a mixture between the beam rifle and the
There's a
burst
lot to take
rifle.
in, I'm sure, for viewers who are just seeing a lot of stuff for the first time here.
Or, I'm sorry, the
Yeah,
beam rifle and the
we've
plasma
we've
rifle.
shown things like the pulse carbine being used in first person. I think it was briefly shown in the multiplayer trailer, and I think this is the first time we've shown first person
Alright.
view of someone walking around in Bazaar.
I think it has. We're also right now kind of getting a look at the friend and foe system.
Also, is it just me, or does this map remind me of Turf from Halo 2?
Kind of moving away from forcing players into greater focal point for Halo Infinite.
Yeah, and I think this is a pretty good example.
Lack
that.
of team colors for the sake of... Oh, really? Oh, lovely. Isn't that lovely? Ugh. Well, thing, come on. What are you doing?
You're really seeing those colors pop out.
Urgh. Alright, I'm gonna have to play this at a different resolution. Because this is not working out for me.
Great. I think
Being a stinky right now. Being a big fat stinky.
I just noticed a custom skin applied
Alright.
to the AR there that we saw briefly.
So,
I missed it, unfortunately.
I would imagine that the custom coding for your armor would ultimately be pretty tough to tell who your teammates are and who isn't.
Is your starting weapon. It's the one you're gonna
Come on!
weapon, so
Stop!
I like
What are you doing? No! Don't do this to me! Please! Please! No!
Now internally from
Ugh.
development plate
Something's going horribly wrong! Ah!
with some of the supply chain issues that have come around during the pandemic, not necessarily easy for everyone. So,
Alright.
Thankfully, I'm not one of the engineers. I can't imagine it's necessarily a trivial undertaking to be able to scale so smartly across different hardware. But I gotta say,
I must admit, I really do love the look of this city level.
Some feedback from Xbox One players after this weekend.
It kind of reminds me of, what's that place? Italy and,
That's gonna wrap up that clip.
Italy?
Now we're gonna show a little more gameplay here in a bit. We're gonna have Tom French, our multiplayer associate creator. Gonna jump back over to the build.
It almost kind of looks like a mixture of Italy and Mexico.
By the way, I heard you're a real Needler fan.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That is true. I love the Needler. I think it's one of the most unique weapons we have in Halo.
Okay, so the Needler is making a
I
return,
love
which is
every
great.
expression of it. Hasn't always been the most powerful gun in the game, but it's always been interesting to use.
It feels like it shreds in this game, at least in our playtest, right?
Yeah.
It's do not sleep on the Needler this weekend. I'll just say that.
Yeah, especially against bots. They don't know how to deal with it, so
yeah,
it's real good against them.
You mentioned bots. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later in the show today when Tom joins us. Why don't we sort of pivot back now to the real build, which I'm sure people are really eager to see. And I thought maybe we just kind of help give our players who are going to be a part of the tech preview, just kind of give them
By the real build, you mean as in Xbox Series X.
And what that's going to look like. So Josh, maybe if you want to cut to, we'll go to my feed, I reckon, and we can sort of take a look at our lobby space, I guess. What is the official term for this space that we're going to feed into? Once Josh is able to kind of hit that switch.
Rooms?
So this is it, right? This is our tech preview build. We're looking at it right
All
now live.
Yep, this is the essentially the menu that you're gonna hit as soon as you boot up. So you can see the
Really like that
multiple
menu
panel
screen.
options there. If you hit start, you can get into our main settings, and there's a few.
Gotta
settings
say,
that
that's a
you
very
wanna
snazzy
do.
menu
Look,
screen.
I
The
mean,
Pelican in the background and the
I like
Spartan just
settings. No one's ever seen
really
these
eager to
settings in
get
detail
into
before,
whatever
so
he's
we'll
about
just-
to
we'll kinda take a
put
look
himself
here. So,
through.
we want to make sure, obviously, players understand, and first thing you should do if you're going to be in the tech preview this weekend, probably just kind of get acclimated, tweak your settings to your liking, just make sure that these are sort of the way you want them, if you will. So, I think I'll just quickly scroll through. I'm not.
And then, of course, there's keyboard and mouse options, but
I think you're going to find a lot of sort of what you'd expect to find in some regards.
Step jump?
Hold the sprint if I want to do that. I can kind of really dial in my sensitivity and all that. I'm pretty casual, so I kind of tend to just run default in a lot of cases. I'm not afraid to admit that.
Yeah, I think that I've never gotten into all the zoom sensitivity settings.
I imagine that
I'm
the,
just afraid that I would get myself
hang on,
into
what
a
was that
state where
setting
I would just
again?
never land a shot again. Or who
What was
knows,
that
maybe I would
setting?
suddenly sort
Shit,
of
I
evolve
forget.
To the next level. Now, keyboard and mouse players on PC and also, I believe, console now supports
Step jump?
mouse and keyboard as well. Excuse me.
Yeah, step jump.
A couple things here they might want.
I don't know
look
why
at,
I forgot
just pretty
that.
Interesting. If we can get down to it, is the fact that triple keybinds. You have a lot of flexibility here in how you want to set up your keys. I
Triple
want to give a
key
shout out, as all the work that happened
binds.
over the last couple of years to update MCC and bring that to PC, and all the fantastic work by the pub team. Being able to have triple keybinds was super important to the PC community. That was great feedback that we heard, and that's a good example of just one of taking those learnings and kind of that.
Now that's
experience and
even
bringing it over to
now
the
that's
PC.
even great for
Yeah.
accessibility.
We owe a great debt to all the work that MCC and the publishing team has done with diving in, feet first into the PC environment and getting us ready for this.
I'll hover on this one for a minute because I'm pretty sure I haven't been able to do this.
One thing I am a bit concerned about, though, is that if there's going to be sprint in this game for multiplayer,
It's been
then I would probably like it if they could have an option to turn it on or turn it off. So that way, not everybody is more or less
So
playing
dare we
out the
say
same
maybe this
way
is the
again and
end of
again.
train your teammates to take sniper?
Yeah,
I mean,
you
after
just
all, it's got to be
yeah,
something along the lines of classic
Cool, so a
Halo
whole
or
bunch of stuff
akin
here.
to it.
You know, this is something else that we, I think, was mentioned in one of our employee spotlight blogs. But marketing is also a new element to Halo games.
Yeah, and I've actually been really happy with the marking system. So if you're on PC, it is super easy just to mark everyone you see, and the game rewards you for it. You actually get points. You get a mark assist if someone kills someone who you've marked. It stacks with your normal assist points, and I believe there's a medal you can earn for marking enough people who get killed.
So I'll just kind of scroll through here quickly so we don't totally get inundated in settings, but it just goes on and on and on. So let me go over here to video as well. Something else I just kind of wanted to point out, which by the way, I do not, that is criminal for me to be on a FOV of only 70, but you know, we heard, I think
4K
resolutions
resolutions.
fans have wanted. We know, and everyone knows, the FOV really does have a dynamic impact on your experience in terms of not only just your vision, but the sensation of movement and speed. All those things are greatly impacted. So pretty awesome to me that on day one we already have a field of view slider, and this is going to be available on, I think, on multiple platforms. It's not a PC only feature.
That's correct. Yeah.
I mean, what's your preference? I kind of generally like to kick it up here, maybe in the 90 to 100 range. I mean, we can go, all the way up to 120 if we really wanted to?
Yeah, I usually like to kick it in 95 to 100.
All right, well, I'll split the difference. We'll go 95 there. But yeah, just kind of go through here. Lots of different nuanced graphical settings to really allow people to custom tailor based on, you know, their own personal preferences, what's most important to them on their PC hardware. If I didn't mention that, if it's not clear, we are playing on PC here currently. So, you know, you will not have the full breadth of all these options necessarily on every platform, but clearly for PC.
In case anybody's wondering, it is the same as the Xbox Series version.
Sort of opt in or opt out of something that we call.
So not to worry,
so
it does more or less
expecting
function the
game to
same.
have some cool visual effects that help sort of really convey that sense of increased speed. But if I don't like it, I can just turn it off.
Yeah,
speed lines.
The fact that we've got so many settings that are tailored so that you can fully immerse yourself.
If it's that effect that just like draws these lines as you're running around and whatnot, then I would personally turn that off. Because honestly, I would find that kind of annoying to just see. Not to mention, it would be insanely distracting too.
I know you and I were talking earlier about this, but
so yeah, glad to know there's an option for it. Well, if it is pretty distracting all around.
By default, currently in this build, your mic is just set to full open, full hot. So some people might like that, some people may not. Personally, I was kind of caught by surprise when I was saying a bunch of stuff in the game, and I thought it was private. So I just wanted to pass my learnings on to you, so no one gets kind of caught maybe in a precarious situation there. So yeah, a lot of different options here, including Spartan Chatter.
Fire team in lobby voice chat, match voice chat, incoming,
and
yada
the
yadas.
last thing I thought would be kind of cool to really point out, we've talked about this a little bit briefly in some of our blogs, but we have this new system that we're calling Info, right? Which
Ooh,
to really support and
customizing UI colors.
Leaning more into player expression and having a lot more cool ways to customize your own Spartan and your own Spartan journey. It just didn't really work anymore to force everyone into a default red or blue model, right?
Right. And so by default we have red and blue outlines.
Oh my god, that's so awesome.
That various people can't see in certain shades. So we've got a wide array of colors that you can choose for both enemies and friends, and you can also customize the folks in your fire team to be another unique color.
Yeah, it is really flexible.
Wait,
really
fire
cool.
teams?
I also personally being able to sort of, if I want to go old school and display a full gamer tag above someone's head, I could do that. Also helps me sometimes when I'm personally just trying to register a friend from foe. And then, you know, I should call this out. You'll see this in the UI menu here. The theater will not be included in the tech preview, so we won't have that experience. The theater is coming back though, so and you know, event timeline is a brand new feature. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but you could
Event
probably
timeline,
what that might mean in the context
controls,
of the
yada yada.
This is pretty crazy too. Weapon offsets, so
Weapon
will
offsets.
Be able to move that stuff around,
Not that I think there's a point to them, but you know, at least there's the option if anybody wants to use it. I kind of just don't see much of a point in this, but hey.
I guess, you know, one of the predominant themes here is just trying to give
accessibility.
as many options as possible to really dial
Much
in
like
the
linear
experience to suit
navigation
their
mode,
personal
UI
tastes,
narration.
Yeah, I mean,
UI
It is just a set of
narration.
venues, but I'm really looking forward to hearing what people think of
Is
these
this going to be
venues, the
something
things that
for
they can put
multiplayer,
together
or is it
to
also going to
customize
be
it
for
to
campaign?
exactly how they want to be. I want Halo to be like the comfort
It'll probably
for
be
everyone else.
multiplayer, I imagine.
All right, so let's back out of the settings. Something else I think we want to point out to participants in the tech previews to keep an eye on this weekend. The news feed. Wow, this is like next gen news. No, seriously. This is just good to keep an eye on if you're playing in the tech preview. We will probably use this to convey updates over the course of the flight, critical information. If the playlist experience evolves, we'll let people know through here, right? And I think, Sam, you wanted to specifically call this one out in particular, right?
Yeah, so we've got a notification.
If you are
for people on PC,
using an
especially if you're
AMD
using
GPU, please
you
update
gotta
the
make sure
latest
you update to the
driver,
latest driver.
Adrenaline
It is a significant
21.7.2, to
performance
ensure a
for
playable
PCs
multiplayer
on AMD
experience.
GPUs.
We
So
have drastic
please make sure you
improvements,
do
yada
that, and
yada.
make sure you check out the news for that kind of attention announcement.
Awesome.
I'm probably
Sam,
thinking
I
about
think that's
getting a
all we
brand new
got for
gaming
you
PC
today.
with an
Any
AMD
final parting words or thoughts before we
PC
jump
with an
over and dig
AMD
into some
CPU.
customization?
So
wanna see the
this
customization too.
could
Thanks for
be
having me.
Cool. Thank you,
interesting,
Sam.
to say
We'll be
the
right back in
least.
just a moment. We're going to be joined by Jerry Hook here, and we're going to talk about all the things you can do to customize your Spartan in the tech preview. Be right back in just a moment.
A new day is upon us. A new generation built to fight. Together, we are unstoppable. Are you ready?
Now this map kind of reminds me of Foundry from Halo 3. Or that one map that I forget the name of from Halo 4. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. Why? What the hell, Microsoft? Come on! Alright, going to 480p. I mean, we've already seen the trailer and all, but it's still pretty badass. Come on.
Acquired.
God damn it! Fucking hell! Feel like YouTube must be fucking itself. Come on. Come on, work with me. Please stay with me, damn it! Work!
The flag is ours. Please haul ass at your earliest convenience.
You know, what I really do hope to see in Halo Infinite's multiplayer is the return of the Falcon.
Can do.
Given that the Wasp is a one-man vehicle, I really do feel like it would be complemented greatly with a Falcon, which requires cooperative play. And if you really want to go even further, you can even incorporate the grenade launcher version, the machine gun turret version, the transport version, all or maybe a few of which have the nose gun. And we're back to the
Thanks,
preview.
everyone. We are back now. This is our Halo Infinite Tech Preview live stream here at 343 Industries in Redmond, Washington. My next guest has just sat down next to me. Please welcome Jerry Hook. Jerry, head of design. Welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Really looking forward to this. It's very exciting, and we're doing it live. Like,
This is
could
live.
not be more nerve-wracking
Hey,
than
what?
doing it live.
Just, I probably have like 5 people watching. No pressure, no stress.
Not
I
a
mean,
big deal.
it's just between us, right?
Yeah,
We're just
absolutely.
playing some Halo, talking about Halo.
Yeah, when they said this was
So
a
Jerry, I
technical
think, you're
preview,
gonna
they
join
really
us today.
freaking
We're
meant
gonna
it.
talk a little bit about sort of the player progression, customization side of the game, things that kind of fall under our live team umbrella. Kind of from your perspective through that.
Well, let's see what else they have to throw at
What
us.
are you and the team looking for? What are your kind of high-level goals? What does this tech preview mean to you?
Yeah, well, first let's really talk about what a live game means to us. Like, we have so much coming into Halo that we've never had before. We're on more platforms. We're on PC. We're free to play for the first time. So that means a lot, and that has a lot of changes that go into the fundamentals. And
Wasn't Halo
part of what
multiplayer
we do
always
as
free
head
to
of
begin
design
with?
is helping ensure that everyone has their best work show up in the game.
Now that I think
the-
about it,
the
I
base fundamental
am
is
kind
that
of
some pillars
skeptical
that we're
about the
using to
whole
help
free-to-play
ensure that
thing.
our players get the best
Because I
experience
have a
possible.
feeling that
The
they might
first
end up
one
in the same
of those
trappings with
pillars
Halo
is player
5, where it
first.
had
And you see that
so many
primarily
fucking
represented in some of our
microtransactions to the
attributes,
point where it was just
specifically
shoved
that, hey,
incessantly
look,
down your
the
throat.
time and the money that you
But
invest in our title
I really do hope
are
that they do away
extremely
with that shit
important to drive
altogether.
home for us. That's why
They
you
did
see
say
us
they
do what we've
wouldn't
done
have
in
it
the
in the
past,
game, but
to allowing us to have
I
that
might as well have a
experience,
little bit of
and the players
skepticism
aren't
for that.
feeling the 100% FOMO to I got to get it now, right? That's a player first model. The other player first model that we're looking for is that our experiences we want to delight and we want to have those experiences, grow as we move forward. The delight's pretty key there because we don't want to fall into some of the traps that you see with other free-to-play games where they just add chores or they just add things that aren't really delighting the player, but the player has to get through. And so these mentalities change fundamentally what we're doing from a Halo perspective. Next big pillar is we want to listen, we want to learn, and we want to experiment with all of you as players. And this is critical. Like Sketch, you're such a critical piece of this, of listening to the community, and as everyone out there right now is screaming about assassinations and screaming about Sprint and everything else that all the various community members, they want to have.
again, I wouldn't
in
mind
the
Sprint very
hobby that
much
they love.
if it were
And
an
we're
option
hoping
you
to
could
bring
turn
that to
off
you
for any
and,
game mode
working with
whatsoever.
you and your team, Sketch and Uni, and as well as when you look at Tashi and you look at our esports communities, all of them have voices that we want to make sure that we can hear and bring into our experiences. The next pillar off of that is the story doesn't end with Master Chief. The story is actually your story as well, and our story is going to grow even in the multiplayer side. And this is pretty critical when you take a look at what Tom French and the team have done with Academy and all the other stories that they're bringing to play. That's your story in our universe, and we want to make sure that you have a story that continues with you. And then lastly is just for the team. You see so many stories of game development teams being burned out and burned to a crisp. And we want to make sure that, our core pillar of we want to be able to build a sustainable and predictable game for all of you. And that's really, really critical because if the team isn't there and the team isn't supporting,
Oh my
all
God,
of
what are
the
you doing,
experiences we
YouTube?
wanna
Come
be able
on.
to bring to you,
Work with me
then you
today.
won't have those experiences. And so we have to do it in a very predictable fashion. The other thing from a player first perspective, our players should be able to trust us that when we say, hey, we're going to go after, I've seen like the lists on Reddit and whatnot, right? And those lists are huge, right? And we obviously can't solve all of them on day one. In our launch, we're going to launch, and we know that we probably made some mistakes that you're not going to like from all of you, and we're going to need to correct some of those. And some of those you're like, hey, can you make it bigger? We want to go after those as well. So that's all pretty critical. And so in this tech preview, which isn't a beta, is we're testing the technical side of it. And so you purchase everything. If you're in the technical preview, just go purchase everything. We need to test all of our services and connecting with our commerce engines and our commerce services. And Joaquin and our service team are just, man, they're on point. They're amazing, and we just need to make sure that all the technology works. But we will have some customization.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not a full customization at all of what'll be in the launch product. But that customization is going to help at least help us understand what's important to you from the small subset that we're giving you to play with.
Well, I think we should take a look at some of that. Speaking about my custom Spartans, I did want to just clarify one point. You're talking about spend as much as you can, buy everything.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, everyone invited to this tech preview will be granted a bunch of credits. So we're not asking anyone to spend your real money. So in fact,
not at all.
We won't even take your money. There's no way to do that.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to give you our money and ask you to spend it and just go have fun.
Yeah.
So
And remember, prices aren't none of that is final. We're just trying to get some semblance of differences so you as players would know what's
Yep.
better value, what's lower value.
Well, let's go back into the build here, Josh. I guess we'll go to my screen, if you will, and I'm going to go into the customize menu here up at the top. Jerry, I thought we might just kind of
Ooh.
run through a few of these things.
Oh,
then,
this ought to be the
we'll
good
kind of
stuff.
just navigate through the world of
Oh, vehicle
customization
bay.
as it exists in this build, which, as you already
Come
know,
on,
is
baby.
just a
Let there be
subset
the
of what we
Falcon.
can expect to find in the shipping game.
Let's
So
see what we
I
got.
think we'll just go down the list here. People
Yeah.
are probably very eager, I assume. They've never seen this. By the way, I do like this idle animation. You let it sit and it just kind of cycles through some really cool sort of 3D assets,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
just it's nice.
the other cool thing is like you just pop into customization. You already know we're doing a lot more.
All right, there's
and,
the
it's
Scorpion,
great to
and it's
just
the
see
classic style
and you notice
Scorpion.
the
Oh my
customization
god,
from
dude, that is
bots,
mwah,
and then,
the chef's
bands
kiss
with,
right there.
well, with your.
I am very
armor.
happy they brought that back.
That's all in the game.
Because I kind of didn't really like the design of
All
the
right, well, let's start
Scorpion
by
in
going
Halo
in the armor
5.
hall, and then we're
Yeah.
just gonna kind of quickly move through here, and then we'll kind of bounce
All right,
around like you and I.
armor
discussed.
hall.
So armor hall, pretty
All right, let's take a look at those
self-explanatory.
armors.
This is where I'm gonna customize my Spartan's armor, right? So
Let's see what cool new armors
right
we
away,
got.
Here we go. Now for
Mark
this tech
7.
preview, because it's a
All right.
subset, I'm gonna have one armor core, and that's gonna be my Mark 7 armor core. And Jerry, you and I have discussed this a little bit.
Oh, armor
There's
cores.
been a lot of questions, I think, in the community since we first started talking about armor cores, right?
What exactly
And
could
we
that mean?
Demonstrated this and sort of showed it off in our old overview video and some prior blogs.
Is it actually going to like?
How would you sort of best describe like what is an armor core?
Is
and
it
sort of
like
how
going
should
to
we think
affect
about
what
that?
your shielding
Yeah, so
is,
this is
depending
one
on
of
the
our
core
new
itself?
systems. So Christopher Blum and Jeremy have done a really great job here creating this system. One of the things when we stepped back in design, we wanted to rethink how do we help make sure that our players are really represented as characters. And when you take a look at Spartan armor, it's like strapping on an F-22, or maybe you want a set of armor that is like an M1 Abrams tank, right? Each one of those vehicles is unique and has a unique character.
And you even get to look at the lore of the armor.
Thing we're trying to build is we're trying to make sure that the character of that armor really comes through. There's really
Are they going
no
to show
better
off some
way
other
to show
armors?
this than, hey, Josh, you have one of the pictures, one of the concept pictures? Yeah. Okay. So everyone saw at the end of that amazing multiplayer trailer the samurai armor. When we talk about strapping on a piece of armor as a unique character, I think our first fracture core, and we call these fractures because they're not part of the main canon. They're part of basically side universes that you can look at. You can look at how we're trying to develop the character, and our artists have done an amazing job of really trying to represent the breadth of what we want to look at, maintaining the character throughout the entire armor set, and more importantly,
Seriously, I'll never get enough of this armor.
Saying, hey, look, when I strap
I would
on
really love
that
to be able to
samurai-
equip
that
it when I
samurai,
actually get it in Halo
armor
Infinite.
tank,
It's going to be
I wanna
freaking
make sure that I
sick.
can make it mine, and this is the breadth in which we can really express.
Also,
but stay within the character.
Also,
We
is
don't
this
want everyone
implying
to
that
feel
you're going to
like
have
it's
all
just
kinds of
all one part of a
customization?
single,
Like, you'll be able to add on all kinds of
single vehicle,
miscellaneous
basically.
stuff onto your
And so
armor
then you can look
to make
at
it as
what-
unique as
what-
possible?
What the artists have been
Because
able to
I feel like
think
that's
about
what
it.
this
You take a
concept
look
art
at
is
the
implying.
enhancements that you're seeing there. You're seeing swords. You're seeing, a bandolier.
Sorry if
you're
I'm
seeing
not paying
grenades,
attention,
you're
by the
seeing
way.
Different hit pieces. You're seeing daggers. You're seeing darts. You're seeing whole different expression of what a samurai could look like. And that's pretty critical for us to help, at least in this first impression and our first.
I imagine that
for
this is going to
everyone
apply
launch.
to
Because remember, in a
some
live
of the
game
armors.
perspective,
Probably
we
not
are
all of
expecting
them, but
everyone to
some of
provide
them.
Feedback, what works, what doesn't work, what do you want to
And
see
I just
more,
noticed that there's
and
the
that's where
katana
the
right
game will
there
really
at the
move
bottom.
forward.
This is
Third
awesome. I'm
image.
super excited by the Yoroi Samurai. in particular.
Wow.
Which, by the way, we've also confirmed will be one of the first free pieces of content that players can earn in Season 1 by just completing a free event, which is
Yeah,
really cool.
absolutely.
Okay,
and
so
again,
no other armors,
that
I
type
guess.
Of completion where
All right.
just playing the game and earning things is still a
All
part
right.
of not only our DNA, but again, from a free-to-play game, we want to make
Assault
sure
rifle.
we provide
Kinda looks
multiple
like the
avenues,
Halo
not
Reach
just the
version.
battle
Then there's
pass,
the
but it has different
sidekick,
ways, and we'll show that,
the battle rifle,
as we go forward. Different
the
ways that we can
commando.
earn things.
Yeah, right now I'm just kind of cycling through the weapon bench
spanker.
just to give give our viewers a sense of what that looks like. So if
I really
wanted to
love
equip,
how these weapons look,
weapon
by the
names,
way.
I could check them out here.
Yes,
I'm just sort of scrolling through, giving
Bulldog.
people a chance to see some of the weapons.
The
that
Hydra.
they,
I don't even know
have in
what the
game
heck
that
this
people
weapon
will
is
be able
supposed to
check out.
be,
So
but
I really love
I
that.
imagine
This
it's
is so
supposed to be
sweet
some
because
kind of
every
like
time you pick up a
railgun
weapon, right,
or
you take it off the weapon pad, it is your weapon, and it'll be skinned the way you want it to. It'll look the way you want it to.
It's skinned.
It is just a sweet feeling.
Let's quickly jump into vehicle bay. I mean, one quick caveat here is none of the experiences in this tech preview build will let you drive vehicles this time around. But of course, vehicles are an integral part of our sandbox, huge part of the experience, especially
so
when
there's
we
the
return to
Warthog.
team battle.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to that a little bit later this year. But I'll just kind of give people a quick glimpse here,
Mongoose,
of some of the updated
Scorpion.
builds, some of these things we're seeing for the first time, I believe.
Yeah, and again,
The
for
Wasp.
What we're showing here from a customization perspective, you make this you. So you get to
Razorback.
say, hey, look, no, when I drive my Warthog or when I get on my Razorback,
which is literally a beefed up
I'm the driver,
troop transport.
I get into it first. It's going to look the
The
way
Gun Goose.
that
All right,
I
I
want
kind of
it
expected to
look
see the
like.
Gun
So
Goose
as you
return.
continue to play in the community, you're going to have different
And
looks
the
from
Rocket Hawk.
players, and everyone will know. Like,
And it's
it
colored
is
gray
you
to
and
distinguish
you're
it
at the
from the
All right, then I'm going to jump down one more real quick here in the body and AI.
from
This
the
one,
from the
you know,
normal
we
Warthog
obviously have a
variant,
couple
which
different body types I can choose from.
I kind of wish the Goshawk
Really-
was here,
I really
but
love, actually, the
I don't
depth that
know.
we've
Maybe
been
this is
pushing
just
out
a
with prosthetics, right? Just an
pre-release
additional
build.
layer
Maybe
of
some things will be
customization
added
and
in the
frankly,
future, but
inclusivity
I
as
don't
well.
know.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the biggest thing is just about, from a philosophy perspective for player first is we want everyone to be able to represent themselves. My sisters actually does builds prosthetics for a living, and this is very important. Is it's a part of your identity. It's also, quite frankly, some of it's really cool. And again, we're only showing a very small subset, so don't get lost in that. But the sheer fact that you can do your entire body the way you want to from a prosthetic perspective and really make this your identity is really, really critical for us.
So personal AI is another new addition to the game. We introduced this. People heard some personal AI in the MP trailer, for example.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people out there that became instant fans of Lunar, for example. And I think, we'll talk more about this probably with Tom French in a bit, and we'll see it in action in some of our additional footage. But, this is just a subset, right? So there's...
And it's also just the beginning. Like this is the biggest thing. We have so many things in which you can really express yourself the way you want to, and even your AI sidekick.
Something
is
tells
yours
me
to
there's going to
express,
be a
like, it's yours
Cortana
to
model
make
thrown
use.
in here
And I think
somewhere.
The cool thing is that when you see Tom talking
Possibly.
about it, you see the modes you're going to use it in, it really becomes a part of the personality that you bring to the field.
Yeah, and each AI here, for example,
But
has their own unique voice. Their own
on
unique
topic here, I do
personality.
really
It's
love the
fun. And then
idea
we can go
of
one step
AI
further if we want
companions.
to, and actually even a subset
And the
of
fact that
killers
you
as
can
well. So
actually color
personal
your
AI is one of my
AIs.
favorite additions to the game currently, and I can't wait for players to experience more of that. And then we have one
Like
more breakout
the
area
amount of
here. This is where I'd be able to
customization
do
there
stuff
is in
like
this
my
game
sort
is
of
just
tag, and
astronomical.
I think you've alluded to. There's more coming than what's in this build, so we want people to stay tuned. Now I think let's quickly. I want to keep
Bring the
things moving here,
Falcon
'cause I know folks are eager.
for
We
the
have a
next
lot to get
build.
through. How about
I hope you
wanna
bring in
jump
the
over to Battle
Falcon.
Pass?
Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe we'll switch. Josh, why don't we jump over to Jerry? He'll drive us through, and let's just talk a little bit about what we're designating the Season 0 Battle Pass, and sort of what that's going to be for players in this technical preview.
Yeah, so when we take a look at ourselves learning as a team, the reason why we want to do Season 0 is, like the rest of our live experience, our team needs to build the muscle of listening to the players, of providing fixes, really going through, even veteran people who've worked on games, game developers. When they go through a service, every game is different, every team is different, and it takes a lot of muscle building to really get into the rhythm for your teams to be able to add to the game. And so what we hope to hear from on the technical preview side is, again, what's working for you, what's not working for you, what don't you like. Remember, the build is old, so don't treat it as if it's final at all. So as we go into the details,
I'm really hoping for some more in the future builds.
Give us the details that you want to see.
And the final build. But most importantly, I really do hope they add some new
because we're
stuff.
Months from launch, we won't necessarily be able to fix everything for launch, but we'll start adding lists together. First thing I want to talk about from a Battle Pass perspective is our challenges. Our challenge system is the cornerstone. It is the underlying thing in which we go. Now, everyone's familiar with these. We've done a little bit different. This is where you start seeing the first rewards that you get outside of the pass. So we know, right? Games are a bit different today than they were back in the day. In fact, back in the day, most people only had 2 to 3 games a year that they even looked at. Today, I bet you most of your Steam libraries are much larger than that. And that means players are going from Sea of Thieves, or they're jumping over to Age of Empires, and then they're coming into Halo as well. And we want to make sure that when you sit down, you don't have to absorb an entire battle pass to say, what are my rewards? You can literally just come in, what are the challenges? I'm going to go play my games with my friends, and I'm going to get rewarded for it. That's pretty critical for us from a player first perspective. And then, of course, you're going to get people like me. I'm going to sometimes get sniper challenges. Now, I'm not Clutch in any way, shape, or form, or Mikwin or any other pro team. I will skip that challenge. So I'll definitely probably swap that for sure. And I'll want to make sure that I don't have to do that because I'm not good at it at all. So let's look at the battle pass. So we're going to buy this? Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, we granted you.
Oh.
You're just like a real tech preview
All right, so
participant. We have given you some money, Jerry.
All right. Good. I get paid today. Sweet.
All right, so the battle pass
All right.
unlocks the ability to earn 20 Mark 7
Got the
cores.
pass. We're ready to go. So
Heck.
as you can see, I bought it, so now you can't see the free labels. Shoot.
Oh,
well.
yeah. Well, you're right. What we're not seeing is a smattering of objects in this pass are free, right? So
Correct.
even if someone doesn't want to opt into the optional pass in the real game, there will still be a free track and things to earn along
Yeah,
the
the main thing you think of from a model that we have is every tier there's a free item and a premium item, and that means that every single player, instead of having, most systems you have large swaths of the tiers that aren't earned unless you're premium. For us, we want you to earn every step of the way, and for the preview, we're only having 30
The Halo
levels, 20
Infinite
levels,
style
sorry, 20
aviator,
levels
as
in
well as
preview,
the
to be able to,
Trailblazer.
go after. And so obviously at launch we'll have much larger. We're not going to talk about that too much, but the great thing you're seeing here is you're seeing customization all along.
Aviator helmet looks pretty good,
You
actually.
want to go to yours?
Yeah, we can.
and we'll-
Yeah,
That looks like
Josh,
that
you can
actually
run that
looks
over mine,
way
'cause,
way
I have
better
some
than in Halo 4 and
development
5
sheets enabled, so I've got everything already
and Halo
unlocked.
3.
Actually, Josh, switch back over to my feed there. There we go. So now that we have that context, Jerry, of
Yeah.
kind of sort of where this content's going to
armor
come
kits.
from, I'm back in the armor hall. I've just kind of drilled now into this. This is what happens if I click in on my core, right? So
Yeah.
this is, we don't need to go through all this. I know folks are probably eager to see some more gameplay. We want to talk about bots and arena as well, but this is where I would apply my coatings, for
Wow.
example. Some of these coatings I'm going to earn. We saw the Keystone coating as a challenge.
Gotta
in War,
say,
for
I
example.
really love these
So this
coatings.
is just a
These are
taste
really
of
great.
Kind of what I'll be able to do. I can't wait to see how it players in the tech preview. I would hope a lot of people are probably going to easily hit tier 20. And max out.
Goblin.
Yeah,
If not,
that's our hope.
what are you doing? You've had this long to prepare. Like, come on, you've waited for this.
It
We
should
need you.
just be good.
Go crazy. But yes, this is just to give you an idea. As I unlock my content for the core, this is where I'm going to go in and be able to customize. it. And I just the other day, in fact, someone pointed out to me that if you want to, I think for the first time in a Halo game, you can have no shoulder pads. Which,
Correct.
hey, if that's your fancy, go for it. So lots of different options here, and
Yeah, and this is like you're not seeing things in here like armor effects or other categories that we have listed here. For the tech preview, it's really small, and so we tried to keep it basically the baseline pieces.
Gotta say, I
Actually,
really
let's
do
talk
love
about
the
armor
customization
kits.
here.
That's
yeah,
a
what is
brand new
because
concept.
I don't think this is really
So
fully supported in this build though.
yeah, so
Probably
when we
not
talk
nearly as
about,
broad as Halo
specifically from a
reaches,
killer perspective of
but
continuing
it's
the story,
just about
Armor
close.
Kit kind of represents a bunch of that story. And so when you see the season, and when we say story, we
It's
mean the
almost
continuing
one-to-one
story
to Halo
of the
Reach's
universe
armor
from after
customization.
when you're in campaign as Master Chief, what are the rest of the Spartans doing? You are a Spartan, and so your story belongs here too. But it's also a place in which you can show iconic characters within the Halo universe. And so a kit, for example, you might get, George or Emil, and that is an entire kit unto itself. And so you want to, you actually want to go fly do your battles on the battlefield like George, that's where you would go to get that kit.
Well, Jerry, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I think there's still a ton of fun content in here for insiders this weekend
Man,
to experiment with.
the
and
armor
watch,
hall.
explore. I do want to just reiterate.
The
as well
armor
what we
hall
said
is
prior,
just.
But, this is just a test, so nothing.
This
that
is
you
all
buy
looking really
or
amazing,
unlock during
I
this
gotta
will carry
say.
over to
Armor
the whole game,
customization
it'll wipe
is-
the slate clean. And as Jerry noted,
Armor
just
customization
look for your
is
feedback. We'll have
super
information on
broad.
Waypoint, by the way, as well as in your flight invitation that lets you know where to go and how to give that feedback.
And whether or not they'll
The
have
team wanted
skins
to
for
also
your
just give a
vehicles,
shout out and let
I'm
people
not
know
so
that
sure.
a lot of
I
polished
doubt
work
they'll
is
actually go
happening,
through with
so
that, but it would be
appreciate how
nice.
things look and are presented.
I even like the idea of
So,
customizable
make sure you
AIs,
credit to
choosing
all
what,
the hard work
what
that's
type
being
you
done
want,
and
as
will
well as
continue
the
up until launch.
different colors for it.
Jerry, any final
Like
thoughts or
that that
words you
that
wanna
to
leave to us
me
before we
is
jump
what
over
I
to Henry
really
and Tommen?
love.
No, I mean,
I
enjoy
love
your
that they're
time,
introducing
and
all of these new
as you
things
said, Sketch,
to Halo Infinite.
this is a few months old,
Because even
and
as
we
the
have a
first
long way to
time
go
that they're
from
doing
where we're
this,
at actually today
it
to
really
what
is
we've
a
seen.
great change of pace
But
for Halo as a
please
whole.
go test
I
everybody,
do
like
strongly
play it,
believe that
so
this
we can
will
make sure we
bring
get
a
the tech
lot of
ready
new
for you
players
when
into
we
the
launch.
experience in such
Awesome.
a
Well, cool. Thanks
fantastic
again, Jeremy.
way.
I'm happy to have you
Of
here.
course, you
We're gonna
do
take
have the
one more quick
caveat
break.
of the
We're gonna
battle
bring in Tom
pass,
French and the multiplayer team. We're gonna talk about some bots. We're gonna
which
jump in, do
I
weapon
guess
royalty,
more or
we'll talk
less
about the
functions
academy,
similarly
and then we'll take a
to
look at a match
MCC's
teaser for
challenge
the
mode,
Xbox
but
Series X. We'll be back in
even
just a moment.
then,
A new day is
even
upon
then,
us. A new generation
I do have a feeling that it might put some players off due to how overwhelming it could possibly get.
Are you ready?
And I really wish they had some more gameplay for this trailer, though. And literally, he said no scope instead of snapshot. Which I think I'm perfectly fine with, actually. That ability where you can reflect projectiles is just insanely overpowered, honestly.
Let's do some damage. Skewer acquired.
And literally being able to grapple onto air vehicles and snatch the player out of them, that probably might be the most broken mechanic imaginable.
Ordnance
Like,
drop.
wow.
The flag is ours. Please haul ass at your
Well, at the very least, I get a chance to examine this trailer a little bit further and see some things that I missed out on. Okay, we got Oddball, obviously. Bam! Tossing Fusion Coil,
You can do.
using a Force Grenade or something, or Plasma Grenade, and then getting the sword launched right at you? Dude, that is freaking badass. I love that.
Okay, welcome back again after that brief break. This is still our Halo Infinite Tech Preview live stream here from Redmond, Washington. I'm Sketch. And now I want to welcome Tom French. Tom, welcome, Associate Creative Director for Multiplayer. How are you?
It's wonderful to be in this room again. I've
What?
missed being in this space, so it's good to kind of just hang out. I kind of want to give you a big hug.
I
right
know,
now.
right?
It's wonderful.
It's the closest, this whole process, I haven't come this close to human beings in a long time.
Yeah,
it
it's a
feels
little
like.
weird. It's a little weird.
Well, it's good to have you here. I
Thanks,
feel like
sir.
this has been, this has literally been years in the making, safe to say.
Yes, that is very safe to say.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about multiplayer, which is obviously sort of the key focus for the tech preview. So much like I've talked to Sam and Jerry about, thought we might just open up with kind of giving you a chance to, from your perspective and your team, how are you thinking about the tech preview? Kind of what are your goals? What would you like our audience to know from your side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jerry and Sam kind of hit a lot of it on the head. Really, the focus isn't about like kind of fair, balanced arena starts. It's really about a tech preview. We need to get a lot of data. There's a lot of PC data we need to do. Now that we're not like just, single console focus, there's a lot of information we need to really strengthen up our back end before we launch this game. It's really just make sure everything's strong for the fans when we go live.
Yeah, and a lot of work obviously still happening. We've kind of covered that. Now, I think we've got I think safe to say we have sort of two signature content sort of buckets, features, if you will, of this tech preview, right? We've got an Academy experience, which I think we're going to talk about here first, and then we're going to move on to bots from that. So let's start by the Academy. We teased this a little bit. I think folks learned about it for the first time in our overview video last month. So from your perspective, what's the Academy all about? Where did it come from? What's the idea behind it?
I'm really proud of the Academy concept. Wake, when we started the journey to, what was going to become Halo Infinite, we needed, I don't know if you know this, but when you go to play multiplayer, it's intimidating to a lot of people. And so we needed to kind of create a ramp for how players get there and kind of smooth that out along the way. And so we thought about like, what are the obstacles that players have to do? And so the academy is broken into like 3 core parts and then kind of a 4th extension to that. But the first part is a tutorial where we teach you the fundamentals of the game. We'll introduce you to the kind of the canon around the MP Spartan and what is the player Spartan's purpose in the greater universe. And then the next step after that, we have weapon drills, which we'll get to play with and talk about today, which is cool. And those are really about kind of just giving you a chance to put your hands on a gun in very simple settings, really just kind of mono-focused, right? And just really focus on how that gun performs and learn. And there's different skill levels, which we'll get to see a little bit. And then the third part is the what we call the training mode, which lets you play arena matches, basically, arena slayer inside of all of our arena maps. And lets you run around and you can configure the difficulty of the bots, you can configure your loadouts, you can configure, I don't know, there's just a bunch of tuning knobs to let you really kind of soften the experience. And then the next step I would say beyond that is once you kind of get comfortable in there is we have 4v bot matches. So we have 4 players. Halo is a team-centric game. So we want players to learn how to play together kind of first and foremost, and you do that against bots before they kind of start getting headshots across the map.
Well, you mentioned weapon drills, which is the sort of the slice of the academy that we're including in the tech preview today. I think we should jump into a weapon drill or two. I'm sure our viewers would love to check that out firsthand. I mean, Tom, if you're willing, I may put you on the spot here.
You can see how much I
can embarrass myself. You know what?
Why don't we trade off?
Why don't we each do it, right? So I'm happy to go first, Josh. If you want to jump back over to my POV here. I've already kind of jumped into the academy menu. I'm presented with an option for weapon drills. I did want to point out this is not the entirety of our sandbox, right? This is
what's in the flight.
It's a
No, not the entirety of the sandbox.
So,
All right, the Ravager, the Skewer, the Neither, Heat Wave. So that's what that's called. The Pulse Carbine, which I guess is the replacement for the Covenant Carbine and the Beam Rifle, which I hope it isn't. At least not for the latter.
It sounds awesome. It feels awesome. And real quick, Tom, how would you want viewers to understand sort of, I got 3 options here for my weapon drill.
So there's 3 tiers of weapon drills, and the basic one is static bots, and they'll just stand there, kind of just let you get the hands on the gun, right? Shoot the basic targets, and we'll score you on your performance and kind of give you a grade so you understand how well you're using with that gun. The next tier, they're kind of on more just like kind of simple paths or crouching behind cover and things like that to kind of show you how to use the weapon, get you to move to that next tier of how do you track a target across the screen. And then the third tier is more, they actually are doing combat behaviors. They're not firing back at you, but they're running around and they're ducking and they're a lot less predictable. And so they're kind of harder to track. They're kind of using more of the actual bot behaviors and mentality. So
I guess I'll split the difference and go, I'll go like a tier 2 here, right?
Okay.
I mean, don't judge.
Let's see how you score.
Don't judge. There's a lot of pressure here. And I mean, safe to say there's been a lot of internal trash talking as well, right?
Yeah, we trash talk a lot, especially about scores. Like, I mean, we're a competitive team at our core, so that's what you have to do.
And speaking of too, I think there is a cool. Not only is this a learning module.
All right, what map is this?
And I think safe to say.
Oh, it's just the training map. Okay.
Possibility of things like leaderboards and kind of how do we really bring that gamification competitive element to this.
Yeah, that was something that we really wanted in the core design, and just it just didn't fit into the schedule. So we're just building this kind of as a platform for how we can add more over time.
Okay, here we go. Not doing good. By the way, that's something our fans noticed right there.
Right, there we go.
Sort of location-specific visual indicators on damage, right?
Yeah, it's really helpful, right? It really helps.
Oh, now that I like.
Look at that! I showed right there. Now, are you a feather?
The visual indicators of where your shots are hitting the enemy. I think that makes for an insanely cool detail, especially given that in Halo, it sometimes can be pretty hard to determine where you're hitting somebody. Like, I get it, it's not necessarily perfect for multiplayer.
I think there is a bonus for like a quick reaction, right? Like if I were to quickly zoom in on a target right when it appears, I think I might get an extra.
I think there's extra little bonus points and little twists around it. So
all right, I want to put you on the spot now. We're going to switch over to your point of view. So so first of all, going for the controller, right? Because we support mouse and keyboard or controller, doesn't matter.
I'm a controller guy.
Whatever suits your fancy. Tom, I am hearing from our friends over here in the room that it sounds like chat is unsurprisingly very interested in seeing the BR.
I think that's expected. Let's bring up the BR then. Let's see how. I mean, I'm okay with this.
I do like where you're going with the more exotic weapons, though. So maybe we just kind of break the rules and squeeze in a third game.
We'll squeeze in another one. I'll try to go the third tier so people can see kind of the different behaviors. And so you see there were kind of more bouncing targets in what you were doing. So you'll see this. They should take a little more cover and stuff. But yeah, obviously a fan favorite weapon. I'm really nervous how well I'm going to score. Let's see.
All right, let's
Well,
see
at
how the
least we're
BR
doing different weapons,
performs.
So we're not really like we can't really compare each other against each other.
It literally looks kind of like the Halo 2 battle
Yeah,
rifle.
people are already making fun of me in the stream.
Alright.
You can see it. Or imagine at least. I'm really terrible.
Seems
about
you will
managing
load
my
pretty
reloads.
fast,
I'm like an
too.
incessant reloader.
Yep.
Let's see there. I probably shouldn't have reloaded right there.
Well, it's not, when we're
Right,
missing
bam,
shots like you and I,
bam,
it makes
bam,
it a little
bam.
hard to be predictable on that
I
reload
know.
too,
I
right?
really feel like it's part of my job to get better at this, and I'm trying, and I am getting better. I'm a little more better. Like BTB is kind of my brag.
Get some headshots,
You
dude.
can see they're kind of dancing around a little bit. They're strafing more. They're not just bounce patterns. I'm hitting headshots at least.
Yeah. You almost got this.
Crap, reload.
Time's up. I think that's a pretty good score. Well, it's a new high score compared to whoever else played on this
I
build.
think
So
nobody. So all right.
Yeah.
So I hit tier 2. So rank 2. So yeah. So you can see like we're trying to kind of give you some grading so you can understand your skill level and like how you can get better, or a little bit like kind of encouraging to get better, so you can understand where you're meeting.
all right, I think we're getting the request. Let's maybe if I get at least one more.
Alright.
You want to play one more since you're already in? Why don't you do
I mean,
it? I'll put you on the
okay,
spot.
I'll do it.
So I'm hearing that there's a lot of interest in the heat wave. This
Alright.
is I don't think we've really seen or shown this really to date. So this
Okay.
is obviously new and exciting. A little bit unconventional, right? A little bit different.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, it has an alt fire, which is cool. It's something that's kind of new to Halo. I know Quinn and his team was really proud of that. And kind of how do we introducing this kind of concept into the game, and how can we can use this kind of more in the game. This weapon's really fun, and the two alt modes, or the two modes, are basically vertical and horizontal fire. I can't remember how this drill.
There's two modes to this weapon?
So see, one of the things cool about the drills is a lot of they're trying to do behaviors that actually encourage you to use the weapon correctly. So like these two were bouncing near each other, and so you can get a more optimal like kind of horizontal shot.
Yeah, and I know folks notice it's pretty
It's
nuanced
right
there, but I think you're using your left trigger to sort of swap between those two
Yeah,
different
the two
firing
modes.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, get together, boys. Thank
Oh,
you.
and this will penetrate, right? So you
Yeah,
can line
it
guys up
over
and just take them
penetrates.
all.
Oh,
Very
the
cool.
Last shots.
Man, I really love the look of this weapon. This is looking
Definitely
amazing.
not managing my reload. I feel like I have more time in the game, right? Like when you're in a match, you like hide behind cover, but this is definitely that like kind of stressful, which is in a good way. Like it helps you get better by going through the repetitions and the drills.
Well, the world watching doesn't probably help.
Yeah, it
either.
doesn't help. I think I'm more nervous about you just giving me shit after. Oops.
We're fine.
Hey, 3
It's all right.
stars.
We're
Nice.
ASRB
Oh,
up front.
thank
We're
you.
good.
Oh, that's
We're
good.
good. We said
I can't help it. I'm.
Gotta say, I really love the new Heatwave weapon.
Man, you're sandbagging us here. 3-star, you're a master. So
Maybe
that's
we
the
haven't
heat
tuned
wave.
those scores yet, so maybe
We're not
we
going to
can
go
do
through every weapon drill, but when the tech build goes out tomorrow, the weapon drills will be available right away. So you folks
Yeah.
that are in the flight can play to their heart's content all weekend long. We encourage you to do that, and I want to see people kind of see if you can beat Tom's score. There you go. Let's throw the gauntlet out.
Yeah,
See-
please. I mean, please beat my score.
I can already manage. I imagine everybody will.
So, Tom, obviously, we talk a little bit about bots as it relates to the Academy experience that we just saw here, but bots is kind of the other signature experience as part of the tech preview. So, before we get into the specifics,
Yes,
bots are brand
bots.
new to Halo. Like, what do you want the world to know about bots? What's cool about them? Why are you excited about them?
I'm really excited about bots because, again, like, playing multiplayer in Halo is a scary thing, and so it gives players we have this kind of notion of safe and being able to play safe and offline in the training mode and things like that. And so having bots to really reflect kind of player behaviors is a big goal of ours. And so actually our bots don't cheat. I'm really proud of the work our bots do. They really are emulating player behaviors. They're doing things like watching the motion tracker. They're listening for footsteps. They'll pre-nade an area as you get into the better bots and things like that. So they actually are kind of reflecting player behaviors back into the game for you to even if you're a learning player, you can kind of, oh, it did that. That's something I can learn as a tool. But again, really just giving players safe place to experiment and learn and warm up. Like we found out, the community was like, when we first started talking about it, they're like, oh, I can warm up before a match and stuff like that. And that was absolutely part of the intent. And we see people, we do it actually internally, or watching our pro team do it as well. So.
Yeah, they are. They're no slouches either. I can say. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. We've mentioned this.
Will there ever be bots for Halo
My understanding
MCC?
is we want to kind of ease people into the experience this weekend, so they'll be able to jump online.
I mean, I would
think
like to
sort of-
have it there,
it's our
but I
second-
doubt it.
So our second lowest skill level.
Sorry, I
bots
went
to
off
start
topic
with,
there,
right?
but
Yeah, we have in the game we'll have 4 different tiers of bots. There's
honestly,
recruit,
I'm kind of
and then there's
surprised
marine,
it took
there's
them
what
this
you
long
start.
to
And,
finally have
we're
bots
gonna
in the
start
game.
with the marine level, which is basically kind of like a silver level player, and then we have the ODST, which are more like a gold, and then
Spartan.
the Spartan is I'm losing my words right now, but they are obviously the higher difficulty level. But we're trying to get like really just they're the plat level player. Duh, I don't know why I'm thinking that. But yeah, so we're trying to just really kind of ramp it up. We want to let players play against the different spots, so we can see the different kind of how players perform against them. We know they're not gonna like. They're not shotsy. They're not gonna like just dong on you like immediately. Even when we get to our highest level, they really are a warm up and a learning tool inside of the game.
Yeah, and I think my understanding is too that we want to get focused testing and data and sort of feedback on each of those sort of bot. You just mentioned the bot sort of skill levels. So if, for example, we get enough engagement and the collective community slays enough bots after we go live on Thursday, my understanding is, okay, cool, you guys have passed phase 1 now, right? So then we're going to kick off and escalate and sort of raise the difficulty up and introduce the ODST bots. So our hope and expectation is that everyone out there is playing so much, we're getting all the data that we need, and we're just going to keep ratcheting it up with the goal of, let's hope by Sunday we've got Spartan bots out there, and we'll really see how some players can stack up to that. And I believe we're also going to kind of gradually introduce maps in a similar fashion. So the big message there, I think, for tech preview participants is we need you to play a lot and come back every day, because we're going to try to keep that experience evolving and keep it fresh. I also wanted to shout out that we're going to be keeping an eye on our stats on the back end and looking to do a little celebratory shout outs on the Halo Twitter account. So each day we're going to be looking for which player has slayed the most bots, who's won the most games, and also, I think, kind of interesting, which team has been able to get 50 slays and win their game against bots the fastest. And what's really cool in a twist here, we're going to track all that. We'll shout you out on our social channels. But when this game launches this holiday, we're going to capture your gamer tags now and be able to you'll be the first ever recipients of one of our sort of exclusive emblems, nameplates rather, for the Fire Unicorn, which has been sort of something that we've had throughout Halo 5, a little bit in MCC as well. So pretty cool. We're able to kind of start that muscle now a little bit.
Yeah.
So bragging rights, high stakes, slay a lot of bots, play a lot, but don't slouch, because these bots mean business, especially by the time we get to Sunday. So Tom, the last thing I kind of wanted to switch into as well, speaking of evolving the experience, we're thinking about possibly turning on some Classic Slayer Arena, I believe, as well at the end of the weekend, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, I think
Classic Slayer Arena?
With the map, which is one of our arena maps, and then we'll go into Recharge, or add Recharge, and then we'll add Bazaar, which is set in Mombasa. Actually, I really want people, especially our fans, to really look around that map. There's some kind of nerdy lore things in there that are super cool. But yeah, then at the end, the intent is at the very end, we can unlock basically a chance to play some 4v4. There's a bug in there right now where sometimes you won't match at 4v4. You can get a 3v4 match. We should backfill somebody into that match, hopefully, generally within a minute or so. It depends on obviously matchmaking and population times at that point. But yeah, so it should balance out. Again, it's not going to give you that full fair like core competitive Halo start, but it will give players at least a first chance at like hands on stick to kind of put sights on another player.
For sure, and I just kind of wanted to reemphasize, like our number one priority is the bot experience, and it's getting all the data that involves. Because I don't think we mentioned this, but even just from a dedicated server perspective, a bot match kind of taxes the servers and uses resources differently than a traditional PvP match, right? So it is important to us that we load test that.
Yeah, the bots are actually, they're running on the servers, and so they're actually putting weight on the servers. And then it literally, because it's 4v4, 4 players versus 4 bots, you're going to spin up twice as many servers, and so kind of testing scale and stuff like that at that time as well.
As long as we hit these gates and sort of checkpoints over the course of each day, we could have quite a bit of fun here at the end of Sunday night. But I did want to reiterate what Tom pointed out. We are aware the experience does have some rough edges, but as long as you're willing to sort of put up with that, we'd love to jump in and be able to have that fun with you as well. So, Tom, I think the last thing that we're going to jump into here in a minute is we have one more gameplay footage. We have a full match we recorded. Before we do that, though, I have a couple other things I think I just want to rattle off. One, split screen comes up a lot. It's a big part of the Halo multiplayer experience. I did just want to call out that that is not supported in the tech preview. It is still something that is important to multiplayer for launch, obviously, but in the tech preview, it's not will not be supported. So I think honestly, I believe you could even split screen in with your buddy on your couch, but then you can't load into the playlist together. So I just wanted to call that out in case folks get stuck in that situation. Something else that I just thought while you're
Is
here,
that
because
implying
Chad, I'd
that
like to
they're
ask
bringing
you,
back split
folks
screen?
started asking this question as we showed off some of our MP content last
Oh my god,
month, and they're
please,
obviously gonna sort of get
please
this
let there
experience
be
firsthand
split
starting
screen.
tomorrow, and that's about assassination.
Please let there be
We
split screen
saw
for
a
the life
couple
of
moments in
everyone.
the trailer where we saw some clutch back smacks that probably would have been an assassination. So folks have asked us, are they in? Are they out? What's going on
Oh
with
my goodness.
assassinations? So
How long has this been?
So they're not in for launch, and I think we're just going to be straight about that.
And
right?
it's already
Like, we
6
actually
a.m.
Love assassinations.
Or
and,
PM,
I
sorry.
remember being at an HCS tournament with Quinn Del Hoyo, our sandbox lead, right when I took my gig, and
Man.
we were watching a match, and somebody went to backsmack somebody, and they had assassinations enabled on accident because they turned them off, right? And they got this amazing assassination. It was a super hype moment in the crowd. But what happens at a lot of levels is people just turn them off because there's a gameplay disadvantage of it. And so one of the things we really wanted to do is take a step back and how do we think about how do these fit into infinite gameplay loops? And so one of the things that Quinn and I keep talking about is like when we bring them back, we want them to be back and fit right into our sandbox and the loops of the game and bring them back in a way that really just feels meaningful. So they're always an accessible tool, but also kind of a flourish moment that people have.
Yeah, so we talk about this a lot. Launch is only the beginning. Jerry alluded to kind of what it means to be a live service and those opportunities that it brings. This is a perfect example of something that I know is already on the team's radar, and I can't wait to. It's something to look forward to, and I can't wait to see how bots evolve and eventually. Assassinations
Well,
evolve. Bots will evolve too, right? No, you're right. Getting assassinated by a recruit bot would be I think you have to resign at that point if that were to happen.
I think we
right?
delete your profile at that point.
So I think one more thing we're going to show today, I know people have still been clamoring for we just want to see a full match. Just show us a match end to end. So we have that here today. We're going to do that right now. Just to kind of tee this up, I believe this was recorded last week or so. This is Xbox Series X gameplay just directly out of the console. These are not bots in play. This is a 4v4 Slayer on Livefire. Yep. I think a few members of our pro team mixed in with a couple members of the studio at large. Kind of to your point, right now for this focus, we're not trying to sort of say telegraph this is the competitive side of our game.
Exactly.
So this is about social, it's about fun, it's about learning and kind of evolving. So no one should read too much into that, right?
Yeah, I mean this is not your BR star. It's really curated level. This is kind of more the what we call internally our pub experience or our non-ranked experience. And so this is more of the quick play option that people will be seeing.
Well, let's roll that, Josh, if you got it ready. And, Tom, if you want to we can kind of provide some commentary along the way. We're not going to try to cast this or anything. I'm sure folks are just eager to soak it in.
I get Bravo to yell at me later if I do.
It's about 7 to 8 minutes, I think, end to end. But this is a full match of 4v4 Slayer, Halo Infinite, in our tech preview, essentially a version of this build on Livefire. So, Josh, go ahead and roll that when you're ready.
All right. Let's see what we got here.
This is a pro team POV.
Well, let's see how good they are. Right off the bat, going for the
he's
heat
got the
wave.
heat wave, right?
Yep.
So he switched to vert.
Steitzer.
Stites. It's good to have Steitzer back. Or
There it goes. There's
nicknames
Jeff
of
Steitzer.
The people implementing the VO. They threw down a shield, covered the position.
Yeah, I like that little peek technique. I haven't personally done that, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot by watching this pro team video actually and how to play it. Like we watch them, we have regular weekly play tests with them. I don't play with them generally because they're so good, and we put our kind of better players up against them.
The skewer might actually be quite a bit of an overpowered weapon from what I see of it. Like on top of being able to impale and push vehicles forcefully,
You'll see, like,
I also have a feeling it could possibly be... It could possibly do just about the same thing for players.
This might be our main build right now.
And the Needler, man. Like, it's super brief, but you can really see just how absolutely insane the tracking ability of the Needles are. Like, I know it was just close range, but I don't know, man. I think the Needler might have gotten quite a bit of a buff, from what I can tell.
Tried for it.
And the spike grenades have returned. And they function just like they do in Halo
Hard for us
3.
to hear in studio, but I believe you'll hear some personal AI coming through.
Yeah, you're hearing. There's a few things. So there's the Spartan Chatter that we had in Halo 5 that really just kind of brings the battlefield. Gives a lot more like reaction feedback to what's going on in the game. But you'll hear this personal AI. And what we did with them is we replaced what was called Spartan Leader, our team leader. And it's just a more personal version of that. And they have a lot of personality. And so it lets you kind of swap around and kind of customize that feedback. And they give you a lot of low-level fit. Hold the power up.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, that's a change, right? It doesn't activate on pickup anymore. You can hold on to it.
Yeah, we think that'll bring a lot in the long term and allow us to do more things with power-ups than kind of just, traditional kind of just quick stat kind of reflections, but having like really the notion of power equipment in the game.
One thing that we won't see in this point of view, I really love the visual language that you and the team have introduced.
You literally should have ran up to him and assassinated him.
Like that. You'll see a glowing trail.
I want to see some assassinations. Come on.
Making sure we at least telegraphed that information. That was, making that switch. There was a lot of critical lenses on making sure that there was at least a readability to it in the gameplay.
I mean, so now it's sort of that risk reward, right? Do I hold this and wait for that final push? Do I burn it now so I don't lose it?
Yeah, you make a lot of choices that way. Like I sometimes will pocket it and think I'm getting cocky, and then I'll lose it, and I'll give like.
Ooh.
I'll give.
Man, this weapon looks insanely powerful. Man. The skewer weapon. Damn, dude, that looks pretty powerful from what it looks like.
Tips is what we call them. But yeah, giving you a little bit of feedback, about the type of weapon that killed you, or like how you can respond better to it.
I'm not sure at this point the pro team needs to know that, like, hey.
And it kind of looks like the battle rifle now uses like,
or it makes you feel bad.
what's it called? Hit scan. Yeah, hit scan.
I do love this map.
Yeah, the pelicans flying by. It's it's an homage to Sergeant Avery Johnson, Academy of. So it's kind of cool just to kind of pay homage to one of ours and everybody's favorite character in the set of the Halo canon.
By the way, whoever this player is just getting active camo every spawn. I don't know what the other team's up to right now.
Seems to be watching that call out. Yeah, the power ups we treat those like like the power weapons and stuff. They're up on a pad. They have a lot of messaging and broadcasting about them, so you know when they're coming up.
Now your Spartan AI will tell you that, right?
Yeah, the Spartan AI calls it out as well. So there's a lot of information just kind of driving feedback. You get the stick there. You can see there's the weapon racks you'll see in the levels as well. He ran past one second.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
back
see in the
there
background, right?
Yep.
What's cool about them is before you might run past where a weapon would spawn and then not realize that it's coming up in 2 seconds, and it could change your choice and how you deal with it. Like when we playtest this morning, I actually stopped at one point on a weapon rack because I was like, oh, it's like 2 seconds out. I might as well wait for it and switch out my pistol, which I think I'm just telling everybody that I'm really bad with a lot of the guns in our game.
Are we ever gonna see them assassinate somebody?
I do love the sidekick.
There it is again, the double
It's
kill.
really cool, and when somebody's really good with it, it's really threatening because they can just feather that thing super fast and just crack
This player really likes this little drop wall kind of
covering it
technique,
close,
huh?
yeah. Like kind of locking down an entryway so they can watch their back. It's neat to watch how people use these, all the different equipments in different ways.
Well, hopefully a lot of players this weekend are going to be lighting us up on social, sharing clips with us, because I can't wait to see just some of the new creative ways that the community at large figures out how to use this new sandbox.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. The way we have our maps tuned, in our main build, is they have different equipment and stuff on them, and because we don't have the entire sandbox in the flights, as we swap things out, so it's actually not even the same kind of basically map placement path that we would have in the release version.
Frankly, now that I've seen it in action more than ever, I'm kind of starting to realize that the Commando is just a less overpowered version of the Saw from Halo 4. Oh, there he goes again.
Kind of signifying the end of the match.
Do I hate when that happens to me a lot.
I'm really proud of the multiplayer music. There's a cool story about how we got to basically getting the music in the game. But yeah, it really meets this tone. It's something I've really wanted since Halo 4. Was this kind of post-rock soundtrack for multiplayer? Well, actually, just a Halo. It became one of my goals for multiplayer.
And that. Always hate when that happens too.
Last kill.
Right. And
Cool.
get him.
He's got some drama.
It
Oh,
is.
I got
There
it.
we go.
All
There
right.
we go.
Look at that.
Yeah, that was actually me playing.
Oh, was
My-
it? Nicely done.
since we
What are you
played.
doing, Bubber?
Nicely done. I'm proud.
Hey, so I'm happy that we were able to show that today. Not only kind of our first time showing the game on Xbox Series X, but we know the community's just show us a full match end to end. So happy we're able to do that. You'll be able to see a lot more of that, obviously, firsthand this weekend. And I think safe to say, once we get a little further down and we're ready to talk more about the competitive side and some of the ranked settings, we know people are probably eager to see. I would love to see a true 4v4 pro team match.
That
So
would be brutal.
we'll bring that later. Tom, any kind of final words or parting thoughts you'd like to share before we wrap this up today?
I mean, mainly I'm just really excited to finally get to put this game in people's hands. And even though it's just a tech preview, you get to at least touch the game. You get to run around. You get to experiment with the sandbox. You get to help us, be part of our team in a way. And then, just help us kind of keep building towards the next flights as we get to launch.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We're super excited. I'll be playing all weekend as well. We'll be online playing, watching. Just wanted to go through a couple quick things right after this broadcast is over. If you want to head to HaloWaypoint.com, we have an updated blog that'll go out that'll kind of recap the official play times that we recommend for the flight experience for people who are involved. You can take a close look at some of our known issues and just kind of get a better sense of what you can expect this weekend. Also, just wanted to mention that we're also going to be flighting our next version of Halo Waypoint. So on app and web, we call it Waypoint V Next here internally. That actually will be included in this tech preview. Really cool work happening there to help really extend my in-game experience out beyond the game to web and app. You can sort of experiment with your customization, challenges. That functionality will be working during the flight. Encourage folks to check that out as well. And as a reminder, if you want to be a part of this and an opportunity to play future tech previews and flights of this nature, head to HaloInsider.com. Sign up. Please make sure your profile is complete. That includes, we need you to verify your email, and we need you to make sure you pick which platform you want to flight on, one or both. And if it's PC, we also need you to upload a DX-to-AG file. All the information you need and all the steps are clearly outlined. Just go to HaloInsider.com. Because next time we're going to go bigger. We need even more people. We got to go larger scale because we still have a couple of steps to go between now and launch this holiday. And lastly, just want to say thank you to everyone. Clearly, the community, we really appreciate
And thank you for
your
giving
feedback,
us a
your
taste of
passion
Halo
over the years.
Infinite.
We know you've been eagerly awaiting this moment as much as we have. The Insider Group in particular, huge part of our MCC project to bring that game.
And
to
for
improve
also
it,
delaying the
bring it over
game
PC.
to
That wouldn't have happened
2021
without
when
the
it
Halo Insider
wasn't actually
feedback
ready
program.
that E3
And we can't
presentation
wait to bring
before.
that same passion, that same just devotion and desire to
jeez.
make the best game possible to end.
Oh,
folks. So
man,
wanna
I
thank
still
you in
remember
advance
that a
for your
long
time
while
this
ago.
weekend, being a part of this tech preview. And that's all we got. So share us your clips online. Head to Halo Waypoint for more information. And we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.
Bro hug. Oh my god, that's so cute. Alright, well, that was the Halo Infinite Insider. The technical preview. Mumbo jumbo we got going on here. Well, gotta admit, that was quite a mouthful. But they did actually go through quite a lot for what was literally an hour and a half long stream. But I really love what I was seeing here. Now, of course, there are some minor things I do want to say real quick. I do really wish they added in the Falcon, because I really do feel that a cooperative-only vehicle could complement the Wasp greatly, but, it is just a pre-release build, so maybe they will add new things into the game at some point. And the Goshawk, where the hell even is that? Right then, let's get on to the good stuff then. I love some of the new weapons in the game. I really, really do love some of the new weapons in the game. The skewer, how it can propel vehicles forcefully. The commando, which is a less overpowered saw. I even do like the I even do like the heat wave gun. Oh my god. The fact that it actually has two different modes of fire, that is just sick, dude. I mean, I'm always kind of the person who loves the idea of customizable fire methods of using your weapon, and the heat wave more or less fulfills that role tremendously. Maybe there will be some more weapons like it, or maybe there are some weapons that you can customize to your leisure, make them play different, see how they react to other players and whatnot. The armor customization, it is very broad. Like I said before, it's very broad. I like that you can customize the visor, the colors, as well as the armor parts. The only thing I kind of wish you could do was customize your own colors as opposed to being limited to coatings. Though, I guess to be fair, that was done for the sake of, like, being able to show it off, even during team play and multiplayer. So, yeah, I think the coding is both a blessing and a curse. A blessing because you at least now get to prominently showcase what your Spartan looks like without the hindrance of team play. But at the same time, though, I do kind of miss being able to use different colors, mix and match whatever you feel works, primary, secondary colors for your armor sets. I really do like that kind of stuff for games like Halo 3, Halo 4, and even Halo Reach. But, I could see them trying new things, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It'll probably pan out nonetheless. The whole battle pass thing, however, I am a bit mixed on, to be perfectly honest. Now, I at least understand it. You do have a challenge system, which is great. You get all kinds of rewards for completing all the challenges and whatnot. But on the other hand, with Battle Pass, it kind of feels a bit restrictive on what it is that you can unlock. Although, if this is their way of doing away with loot boxes and microtransactions of some kind, then I would be perfectly accepting of that. Because at least it does serve as a bit of a decent compromise. I mean, Halo MCC technically has that stuff, so I guess maybe Halo Infinite's following suit more or less. And then lastly, the gameplay. The gameplay. Of course, there is going to be sprint in the game, but some of these gameplay clips that they showed off, I don't really feel like they showcase sprint, which probably does imply that maybe they're going to have it relegated as an option for whatever game modes you're playing, like Classic Slayer Arena. Really wish we got to see some of that, but Classic Slayer Arena. Oh yeah, I think they did actually show that in here, but man, Halo Infinite really feels kind of weird, but also really great without without the sprint. And I feel this is a great idea because personally, I'm not necessarily a fan of sprint as far as the multiplayer side of things is concerned, but if it's something for campaign, then that's definitely something I wouldn't mind. And the last thing that they did away with was armor abilities, which honestly, thank God for that. I thought it was just a stupid idea to have armor abilities, and I'm more than glad that they're reintroducing equipment like in Halo 3. I mean, you got this giant ass shield that you could shoot pieces off of. There's a sonar grenade thingamajig. I forget what it was called. And there's even the grapple hook, which I guess, like the sprint, is probably going to be an option you can activate or deactivate upon in a game mode of some sort. Like, man, I really can't. can't wait to see the amount of possibilities there are with custom multiplayer and Forge mode especially. That was literally the one thing I was more than hoping to see in I was really hoping to be able to see some Forge mode in action here, but I guess maybe it isn't ready yet. They're probably still working on it, especially since they really haven't said very much about it, but even then, kind of disappointing, but we still have a lot of time. We got a few more ways to go before Halo Infinite is finally released this holiday season, so yeah. Yeah, I do think that I really do hope that Halo Infinite's Forge will be just as big as Halo 5's, but also carry forth some huge improvements that will make it so much more accessible and super user friendly too. Not to mention, have it made so that veteran Forge mode creators can actually get a huge kick out of it. Like make customized objective based maps, maybe have invasion or Asian and whatnot. Maybe even have maybe even give the ability to terraform maps, make full on recreations of older maps from previous Halo games. Of course, I wouldn't mind it if they also had, alongside with that, the classic Forge mode introduced in Halo 3. Of course, carrying all of the improvements with Halo Reach as well as Halo 4. At least that way, the more people who are more akin to the simpler style Forge will be able to get a kick out of that too. So that way nobody is actually feeling left out. And speaking of game modes that I would really love to see make a return. And I know this is kind of unrealistic since they never really mentioned anything about this, but I really do hope that they include the following. Obviously, you got to have Slayer, Team Slayer, plus Big Team Battle, so that's technically 3 game modes in one. Then there's Griffball. I do hope they bring that back too, because that is always so much fun. That's always so much fun. Race, hoping that they bring back zombies or infection. And not that stupid flood shit that they had for Halo 4. Like actual classic zombies akin to Halo 3 and Halo Reach. Now, what else? I would also like to see Assault come back, which I probably have a feeling it will. I would also like to see Stockpile, and the more obvious one, Capture the Flag. And one game mode that I would seriously love to see make a return, and I can't believe that every other game since Reach hasn't ever introduced it since then. Invasion, where one team has to complete a series of objectives to to I can't speak today. To complete a primary objective, while the other team has to defend said primary objective. Like, I am seriously hoping that they have invasion mode in Halo Infinite, or something akin to Invasion. Invasion. I am almost certain that it probably might not happen since we don't really have any playable elites for Halo Infinite, but it wouldn't really hurt to try something out. You know what I'm saying? And what other game mode would I like to see? Oh, yeah. Definitely Oddball. It's been confirmed that it will be in the game. And what was the other thing? Headhunter. Yes, Headhunter. Like, there's just so many game modes that you could bring back from previous Halo games and apply them to Halo Infinite. Like, I really do think there are so many unspeakably creative possibilities you can get out of Halo Infinite if they have all these game modes included. But a man can dream. A man can dream. And I do more than hope that they do actually bring those game modes in. So, yeah. I really do think Halo Infinite is looking absolutely promising, and I do really hope to see some more content in the future. And yes, I am actually going to be playing Halo Infinite. Probably might not get it at lunch, but I'll probably end up getting it at some point. I don't know if I will. But, anyways, I think that will do it for today. This was my live reaction to the technical preview for Halo Infinite. There will be some more to come, so stay tuned for that. And I don't know, maybe I will do these reactions again when they do another technical preview. But who knows? Whatever they're scheduled on is probably dependent on, probably dependent on exactly what they feel is best for them, if you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, I gotta admit, again, that was a hell of a mouthful there. But I was really glad to see all this. I was really glad to see all this. I'm really glad to see Halo Infinite coming a long way since that E3 demo. Yeah, I still laugh just thinking about it. Which kind of surprises me that they never really showed it off here, but, you know, might as well keep it a surprise. I don't want to be spoiled. I don't want to be spoiled. So that does it for today, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for my reaction of today's Halo Infinite technical preview. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and hopefully you're all looking forward to Halo Infinite as well. And with that said, done and out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all adieu, farewell, have yourselves a lovely day, and until next time, of course, it is I, Lunar, signing out.